Okay, so our next talk is Transcultural Identity, Construction in Caribbean Popular Music, a comparative analysis of Shenseea, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, probably not, and Stefflon Don. Our speaker today is Holland Rhodd-Lee, who is a PhD candidate into the Department of Musicology in the Herbert Albert School of Music at UCLA. He graduated from Wesley College with a BA in Neuroscience and Music with the Departmental Honors in Music and received his master's degree in musicology from UCLA. His work has garnered several awards, including the Lies Waxer Undergraduate Writing Prize from the Northeast chapter of the Society of Ethnomusicology in 2018, and the Wesley College Billings Academic Award in Music for his undergraduate thesis, Social Modes of Listening, How Racial Identity and Music Shape Hookup Culture at Same-Sex Colleges in 2019. Later published in Ethnomusicology Review in 2022. His dissertation examines how Afro-West Indians in New York City construct hybridized identities through their engagement with Caribbean popular music as a transcultural medium enabled by embodied cognition and selective acculturation. All right, Holland, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome, thank you. So, good afternoon and welcome to my presentation. I will be talking about transcultural identity construction in Caribbean popular music with a comparative analysis on Shenseea and Stefflon Don. To start us off, I'll be introducing the paper's focus and objective. Then I'll get into the discussion of the primary theoretical frameworks and relevant context. I'll then go into an analysis that delves into sonic embodiment and market navigation strategies, followed by a theoretical analysis of Shenseea and Stefflon Don's respective songs and the broader implications. Finally, I'll end with the paper's takeaways. So, this paper examines the extent to which cultural artifacts facilitate the formation of pluralistic identities in diasporic communities. Through multidisciplinary literature review and comparative analysis, I argue that contemporary female dancehall artists strategically deploy hypersexualized performances and cultural code switching to navigate the competing demands of cultural authenticity, gendered-powered structures, and global market accessibility. My analysis compares Jamaican Singje and artiste Shenseea, as well as British Jamaican grime and dancehall artist Stefflon Don through their respective songs Be Good and Clockwork. I demonstrate how the contrasting approaches illustrate the intersections of gendered and geographical hierarchies within global music studies and markets. I also go into how their divergent artistic strategies reveal how geographic origin shapes legitimacy claims in dancehall's transnational landscape in two contexts. The first being island-based artists and how they balance local credibility against international commercial viability, while also looking at diasporic performers intensify their engagement with patois and slackness culture to assert authenticity in a genre that privileges Jamaican-born artists. My analysis employs the pluralized identity model and anti-essentialist framework I developed to conceptualize the imaginary to cite for cultural identity formation in diasporic settings. It draws on theoretical perspectives from Ralph Prendas, Homi Bhabha, Edouard Lisson, Solomon Rushdie, and M.G. Smith to examine cultural fluidity, hybridity, synthesis, and identity by balancing imaginative visions of cultural identity with structural inequality analysis. The model employs a both-and approach that illuminates competing tensions between schematic and anti-essentialist perspectives while contextualizing how social labels and ethnic signifiers express shared ancestry and group membership, thus recognizing that identities remain fluid yet also crystallize around shared experiences and marginalization. Utilizing theoretical frameworks from diaspora, transatlantic, postcolonial identity, and transcultural studies, I draw on Larissa King Mann's embodied cognition, Shenseea Butterfield's selective acculturation, Peter Hume's extended Caribbean, and Kevin Meehan's decolonizing context zones to interrogate their adoption of hypersexualized personas that assert creative agency within male-dominated music environments. Ultimately, my analysis illustrates how female dancehall artists transform potential constraints into strategic tools for creative agency, employing sexual performance and linguistic flexibility to carve out space within male-dominated transnational music industries, while simultaneously challenging and reinforcing the boundaries of cultural authenticity within Caribbean popular music. The Black experience in America is not monolithic. Afro-West Indians and African Americans are distinct ethnic groups within different cultures and histories, yet these distinctions have largely been ignored in academic discourses. While both groups often live in communities together, creating plural societies fertile with transcultural exchange, Afro-West Indians' exclusion from Black experience and forced description as African Americans in US Census records erased their cultural pluralism and contributions to American popular music and culture. Within this context, dancehall emerges not only as a response to local political shifts, but also as a diasporic convergence where, as James Clifford notes, historically disenfranchised groups interact and potentially build alliances. The genre's significance intensified following the 1980 election of Edward Seaga as Prime Minister, which shifted control to the socially conservative Jamaican Labour Party and led to attempted crackdowns on social critiques and commentary in dancehall. However, this censorship only increased its popularity and mainstream success throughout Jamaica. The tenuous socio-political landscape contextualizes dancehall's emergence as a popular site for Jamaica's youth culture, with musical themes, production, and target audience reflecting the interests and concerns of lower-class Jamaicans, such as sexuality, violence, dancing, and social and political upheaval. The creation of American hip-hop by Jamaican DJs like Kool Herc represent one of those convergence points, demonstrating how musical contact zones facilitate transcultural exchanges across the African diaspora. To illustrate how diasporas construct and collapse discrete cultural boundaries while embodying pluralism, I chose Shenseea and Stefflon Don as emblems of varying social cultural positions within dancehall and Jamaican versus American popular music. Shenseea represents the conventional background of Jamaican dancehall artists, while Stefflon Don exemplifies the growing transnationality present within dancehall. Shenseea and Stefflon Don embodied the complex cultural pluralisms and transnational identities characterizing contemporary dancehall. Their musical styles and artistic personas reflect both individual backgrounds and broader currents shaping dancehall culture. Through Mann's embodied cognition lens, dancehall sonic characteristics, its driving polyrhythms, heavy bass, and patois-laden vocals create embodied experiences that shape listeners' engagement with cultural identity. These are not merely aesthetic choices, but serve as vehicles for cultural memory and identity formation through physical engagement with the music. Sorry, my slides got a little bit out of order. Shenseea epitomizes the classical dancehall artist. Her vocal style, defined by patois-laden sing-jay vocals, embellished with American R&B and pop timbrels. Her dancehall repertoire pairs vocals with Afrofusion and 2000s raga-era rhythms, creating a classical dancehall sound. Meanwhile, her American pop/crossover repertoire features synth pop melodies overlaid with drill polyrhythms, resulting in a lighter, pop-centric sound. This versatility in Shenseea's style leans heavily into melodic dancehall and R&B singing with occasional rapping, creating a pop-friendly sound that has brought her major stardom and critical acclaim in Jamaica and the wider dancehall scene. In Be Good, this raga-centric approach manifests powerfully while featuring muted synth pad, playing rhythmicized auto-tune and distorted vocals, creating a sensual, intimate sonic ambiance. And Shenseea's vocals, as foregrounded against the sparse, bass-centric rhythm, shifts the song's feel to a more laid-back, understated one, akin to reggae. The chorus seamlessly blends patois and standard English, employing explicit sexual references and command to convey themes of desire and pleasure. The recurring phrase "miwang dibad" establishes the overarching tone, while lines like "kakalap mi body" and "slap mi pussy dija," as well as "stiff foot in a passage when not average," utilize vivid, figurative language to describe intense, passionate sex. Throughout the verses, Shenseea asserts her sexual preferences and desires, expressing her penchant for well-endowed partners, referencing car sex in Beamers and automated metaphors to contribute to the song's theme of sexual agency and empowerment. Can everyone hear the audio?
No, we can't hear it.
No? Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. Can everyone hear now? Yes.
Me want me good, yes I that me want. I could love me body and slap up me pussy, ja me want me good. When you fuck me around, step out in a passage when I average yeah. Me want be good, yes I that me want. I could love me body and slap up me pussy, ja me want be good. When you fuck me around, step out in a passage when I average yeah. Country girl, give me long, me no like shortcut. Can get it anywhere in a the be my park up. Press button start up, hard up, call up. Boy, this sneak out, so me happy talk up. Love it when you use a tongue but I'm not eating time. If footballs are hang like close man line. Set it like a sun, set it in the evening time. Read come sign when your boss you're still in time. You want me good?
Okay. contrast, Stefflon Don represents dancehall's growing diasporic culture. Her music, featuring hard-hitting rap flows over dancehall and trap-influenced beats that reflect her diverse cultural background in collaborations with American hip-hop acts. As seen in Clockwork, Stefflon Don, along with another notable Jamaican dancehall female artist, Spice, deliver a high-energy, sexually charged performance showcasing their enthusiastic embrace
It's 14 hours.
of deviancy as agency. The chorus, built around Clockwork, sets the tone for the song's theme and female sexual prowess and endurance. Throughout the verses, both artists employ rapid fire. Oh, sorry. I apologize, my slides somehow got out of order in the editing process. So I'm going to play a little bit of Clockwork just for the comparison point.
Spice and Stefflon Don. Your 3.14 tighty. Girl angle you up 90. Pussy degrees hotter than the pepper scotchy. Dan dada woulda fuck you on a backseat. Put it in, take it out, I'm a trap. Girl fuck on the scene in a deep pussy dream. Rock your back, bust liver, bust spleen. When the bullet hit your belly in. Work, clap, 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 work. Never stop, work on the block, work. Never man, oh work, don't stop, work on the top. Work, don't stop. From the block to the whole contract. Work. Pussy when they get in a normal. So it's fuck up when they come in a conscious. It's a stick up. Why put your hands up? When you slide in a the thing, electricity can up. On my body fat, wait till the thing rise up. Shelly belly flat, she have a Miami dummy talk. Clap, work, clap.
So, back to it. Throughout the verses, both artists employ rapid-fire staccato flows, emphasizing the song's driving rhythm and high-energy delivery. Lyrics packed with explicit sexual references and boastful proclamations use patois slang and metaphors to create vivid, provocative imagery. Lines like "Love it when you use your tongue, but I'm not eating time," in "Be Good," as well as "Throat fuck up when me come not conscious," showcase the artist's unapologetic embrace of female agency and pleasure. Construction metaphors like stiff hood in a passage when not average, as well as Shelly belly flat, Shea Miami tummy tuck, recur throughout, linking sexual performance to physical labor and skill. The imagery plays on the concepts of the female body as commodity or project to be perfected, a notion simultaneously embraced and subverted by the artist's assertive delivery. Spice's verse in particular stands out for its dense, rapid-fire patois and references to sexual positions and locations, asserting her dominance and unabashed ownership of desires. Her command of patois and dancehall's explicit style is on full display, delivering lines challenging traditional gender roles and expectations. The transition from sonic embodiment to market navigation reveals how these artists strategically deploy their cultural pluralism within global music industry spaces. As Meehan argues, these spaces function as decolonizing contact zones where power dynamics and are negotiated and contested. Both Shenseea and Stefflon Don employ strategic cultural code switching to navigate these spaces, demonstrating how female dancehall artists assert agency within an industry that often privileges male-dominated narratives and Western musical sensibilities. This navigation becomes evident through the physical and emotional responses to their musical elicits. Mann's embodied cognition framework reveals how the song's musical elements align with lyrical content to shape listeners' engagement. Be Good's lilting melodies and sensual rhythms evoke romantic intimacy, while Clockwork's relentless pounding rhythms and high energy vocals encourage visceral bodily responses mirroring themes of sexual liberation and empowerment. These contrasting approaches represent different strategies for engaging with dancehall slackness tradition. Shenseea favoring sensual allure and emotional nuance, while Stefflon Don opts for brash confrontation and explicit context. Within these decolonizing zones, both artists assert female agency and sexuality, though Clockwork presents a more direct challenge to the patriarchal norms that Be Good, with its unapologetic embrace of female desire and heavy patois use. The song's rootedness and dancehall slackness tradition serves a dual purpose, asserting the artist's cultural identity and authenticity while simultaneously navigating the demands of the global music market. Mann's embodied cognition lens frames this sexuality as lived physical experience rather than a cerebral concept, with dancehall slackness offering a paradigm for embracing sexual agency over respectability. In Jamaican and American music's masculinist realms, overt displays of female sexuality provide a counter-hegemonic tool. For marginalized female performers, defiant sexual performativity attracts notoriety to be parlayed into greater creative control. Yet tethering legitimacy too tightly to an essentialized hypersexual image risks creative pigeonholing and exploitation. The transnational dimensions of this navigation become clearer through Hume's extended Caribbean framework, which reveals how Shenseea, Stefflon Don, and Spice operate within extended Jamaican diaspora, creating music reflecting the dancehall's global circulation. Clockwork's UK grime influence points to the local context, shaping Stefflon Don's sound as a British Jamaican artist, underscoring cultural exchanges' complex, multi-directional nature within the Caribbean diaspora. This framework illuminates how both artists incorporate dancehall, hip-hop, and R&B elements while engaging with dancehall slackness culture through female sexuality performances from different angles. Despite their shared use of cultural code switching to navigate the global market, Stefflon Don and Shenseea face distinct challenges that reflect their different positions within dancehall's ecosystem. Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties today.
It's all right, no worries, you can take your time.
Yeah, sorry, my script suddenly went into like edit mode and then like moved me from my spot.
It's okay, take your time. No worries.
I think I found myself. Shensea's pop-oriented sound and increasing use of standard English vocals over patois have sparked criticism of selling out her roots, a tension that highlights the difficult balance between global accessibility and cultural authenticity. Meanwhile, Stefflon Don must constantly assert her authenticity as a diasporic artist within a dancehall scene that continues to privilege island-born performers, demonstrating how geographical origin remains a contested site of legitimacy within the genre. Sorry.
No worries, you can take your time if you need to set up your PowerPoint or find your script.
Yeah, I'm very sorry.
No worries. Take your time.
Okay. These frameworks illuminate identity formation's complex processes in cultural dialogue and exchange's role in facilitating identity construction within diasporic communities. They highlight decolonizing contact zones and counterplantation cultures' potential to foster collective liberation while acknowledging persistent power imbalances and social inequalities shaping these interactions. They form a starting point to interrogate the global music industry as a decolonizing contact zone where diasporic conversions and self-determination struggles play out. Combining Lord Wilmot's identity consciousness framework, relational knowledge, context-dependent spatial relationships, the extended Caribbean, and concepts of diasporic convergence and contact zones, a comprehensive approach to examining Afro-West Indian identity formation within diasporic contexts emerge. Shenseea and Stefflon Don's careers illustrate global music's context zones inequalities. As diasporic member, Stefflon Don exerts greater effort to have her legitimacy recognized within dancehall, while Shenseea and her rise as an internationally acclaimed crossover artist is seen as diluting her patois use in recent lyrics and vocals, which some fans and dancehall community members view as disavowing her Jamaican heritage to move between social stratospheres. Consequently, each artist creatively employs complex cultural code switching and defined sexual spectacle to navigate male-dominated transnational creative pathways and make subversive interventions in an equitable global industry. Thank you for listening, and we'll gladly open up for questions.
Thank you, Holland. Does anyone have any questions? No questions? Okay.
So, what,
You have a question?
sure, these women, how come that, like, one of their main topics was, like, expressing sexuality?
Yeah, so that actually kind of ties back to kind of what I kind of briefly glanced over just for the sake of time with dancehall and the emergent. So this is coming out of a youth counterculture movement that's kind of arising in the late 70s, early 80s, as I said, in response to the growing conservatism in Jamaican culture that was kind of in the rise with the Siaga 1980 election. So in this mode of trying to subvert the very more conventional, traditional, conservative values that are very much a mainstream of Jamaican culture at this point, the youth culture is trying to find ways to express themselves, represent themselves, to distinguish themselves, and make that kind of way of kind of expressing their identities and how they believe. And part of that is with the adoption of what is now called slackness culture, this idea where we're very much leaning into this hypersexualized imagery, persona, content, and in the context with female Jamaican dancehall artists, this is also what I'm arguing is used as a way to subvert the more conventional masculine-dominated music industry and the hegemonic kind of constraints that are implied with that. So in this sense, the hypersexualized personas that they're adopting and that they're conveying within the imagery, the lyrical content, and the delivery is in essence a way of seeing this as a way to subvert not only just kind of a male-dominated gaze, but also reclaiming of sexual agency and using that as a way of sexual liberation to kind of give themselves more creative freedom.
For sure. And then the example Clockwork was about like sex workers?
Yeah, so basically the content for both songs are very explicitly about sex and like sexual performance and sexual activities. But the way that they're kind of going about it is a little bit different. So if my slides will work with me, I can just go back. I think this might help a bit with the imagery. So with Clockwork and the music video, what we're seeing is a lot of like, again, very sexually provocative imagery, dress, poses, positions. But what's different between Shenseea and Stefflon Don, as I said, Stefflon Don is a British Jamaican artist, so she's very much functioning within the diaspora versus Shenseea, which is a Jamaican-born artist and is very much seen as more that traditionalist dancehall artist that's more established within the genre simply because of the added benefit of her being island-born. So with the Clockwork and the video, I'll play just a little bit, but right off the bat, we can see with the outfit, this kind of like bongi suit that Stefflon Don is wearing, it's very visibly denoting the Jamaican flag. And this is another way we can kind of think of as the cultural cueing to say that there is belonging and there is a level of authenticity, but she has to prove it in a way that Shenseea doesn't, again, because diasporic connection versus the island connection. With Shenseea, if I go back to Be Good and the video for here, the imagery that we're kind of getting at first is this very like nature oriented, like a woods forest, and there's a waterfall. And this is also cueing to, again, some distinct island characteristics and geographical pinnings in Jamaica. So in this sense, we're still getting a cueing for this cultural belonging, but it's more implicit versus explicit in the way that we see it with Stefflon Don.
Are there any other questions?
No, thank you.
Let it go.
All right. No other questions?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit more about the code switching? Is it like specifically like between the Jamaican and British or Jamaican and, like, is that the code switching?
Yes, so the code switching in that sense would be the use either of standard English, which we would just think of as the English that we speak, versus patois, which is a pidgin language that is derived off of English and West African dialects. And so in that sense, with dancehall, as is seen with what I mentioned was raga era dancehall, which is this more exclusive use of patois in the lyrics versus using standard English, which was more the convention that we saw with early dancehall, which was coming out of reggae. So with this kind of dynamic shift in the 2000s to this more exclusively patois-oriented dancehall that is now more of the popular form of dancehall, there is this idea of using it as not only showing the connection as well as, displaying legitimacy. It's also a way of cueing that this is more for the general public, not for the higher echelons or the more economically wealthy. And it's very much trying to show that you are basically like amongst the people. So in this kind of code switching that you're kind of getting when these artists are kind of entering into this global market, it is very much this balance that they have to play between the respectability politics as well as the more conventional politics for trying to ascribe to the general conventions to get more playtime, to get more notoriety. So there's this constant tension that they're trying to walk between.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holland. I think that's our time, but thank you so much for your presentation and for being here. And I know the technical difficulties, but no worries. I think you can see me now. But thank you for being here, and thank you so much for your presentation. Let's
Thank you.